Everyone, we are here with author Katharine Coldiron, and she just wrote an amazingly cool film book called Junk Film: Why Bad Movies Matter. Katharine, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I've had my coffee, so I'm good. Um, everyone's safe. So let's talk about your book. What is your book about?
Well, the title says it all. It's about movies that should rightly be in the junkyard, and or movies that have been consigned to the junkyard that I think have some value. I think that bad movies matter because, in part, the uh, the spread of art from excellent to horrible is important for people to consume in order to understand what they're consuming. And so that's my main argument, that it's really easy to figure out what's good by looking at what's bad.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. But what what is it that makes a movie bad or considered bad?
Well, I think I did lay that out pretty well in the book, so I guess you'll have to buy the book to figure that out. But no, there are a few characteristics that kind of are hold true across bad movies. Things like uh, the incompetence of the director and the crew, bad acting, bad practical effects, kind of not having enough resources to make the film what it is. And for some reason, the one thing that holds true across many of them is unintentional comedy. That's true for just a surprising number of bad movies, is that
Mm.
they're unintentionally funny.
Yeah, is do you think that that's how people come to connect with them?
I think it depends on the person. I came to bad movies through Mystery Science Theater 3000, and I
Yes.
understand that's a pretty common way for people to come at bad movies, but it's not the only way. There's also, hunting for treasure in the video store when you're a kid, or stumbling upon things on cable. Both of those things are Greek to the newer generations, but I know that there are ways to find bad movies that aren't just through the comedy geniuses who make fun of them. So I
Right.
couldn't venture to guess how most people come across them.
Incidentally, do you have a favorite Mystery Science Theater episode?
Yeah, the one that I use to introduce people is werewolf.
Yes!
It's
Paul, are you being at this place?
absolutely fascinating.
Absolutely. Governor Douglas's house. I love that's like my favorite one because
Yeah,
every single joke in it is hilarious.
it's true. They really knock that one out of the park. There's a lot of amazing. The jokes per capita is
Yeah.
very high.
Yeah, it's the worst tree farm ever. It was yeah, it was a great one. But I have you had it speaking of that then, have you had a chance to watch the film without their commentary?
Werewolf, I haven't. A
Okay.
handful of the Mystery Science movies I have. Why? Is it very different?
I don't know. I haven't either, but I was like, I wonder if there is something redeeming in it. Like, perhaps another film that they've made fun of, This Island Earth. Um, what is it that actually was good about that movie?
Excuse me. Well, I think this Island Earth is an interesting example because it's not horrible. It's not great. It's not a masterpiece, but it's a fun, sort of mid range 1950s science fiction flick. But what's useful about it to Mystery Science is that they could write 90 minutes of jokes about it.
Mhm.
And I think that's true for a lot of the movies that they riff that people have protested about. Like the riff tracks guys did a riff for Casablanca, which
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would argue is a bad movie, but they were able to write, an hour and 40 minutes of jokes about it. I don't think that means that they're mocking it.
No, no. So I mean, it's actually I'm glad you bring that up because they've even done it for like Titanic and things that have been celebrated. So there is comedy to be found even in what is considered good. So,
Absolutely.
okay, so let's talk your favorite bad film then.
Ooh, that's rough. My favorite one to yell at is Staying Alive. I love putting that on and just yelling at it because it makes me so mad. Um, my favorite one that I actually enjoy is Girl in Gold Boots, which I have seen the other one of. Like I've seen the Mystery Science, but I've also seen the real one.
Okay.
Um, one of the movies that I talk about in the book is Safe Haven, which is a romantic drama from the 2000s with Julianne Hough and Josh Duhamel. And it is silly, but I love it. I love watching it. I love kind of falling into thrall of it. Like it was featured on How Did This Get Made? So it's not a masterpiece,
Mhm.
but it's a movie that I really enjoy.
One of well, I think I do have to say I have a favorite, and
Oh,
that would be Troll 2.
really?
Yeah, that
I never enjoyed watching Troll 2.
oh, it is so funny. It is when you have a director like you said, and all due respect because getting a movie made is a miracle in itself. So, but uh, the director whose name escapes me, he
Claudio Fragasso is his name.
that's there we go. And he didn't speak English, but he wanted everything in English. And then you have non-actors trying to deliver clunky lines. You have, you know, you have, it's just it's just a mess from top to bottom. And you know, all you got to do is heat it up. That's it. I mean,
I mean, I have a strong appreciation for Troll 2 and how it tends to bring people together.
yeah,
And I loved Best Worst Movie, the documentary about
yeah,
it.
that
I
was
really
wonderful.
love that movie. But I have never sat down and had a happy time watching Troll 2. I think because it's sort of repulsive
It
and
is.
I tend to I do like gory horror movies. I love it when they toss buckets of gore at the screen, but something about Troll 2 just feels creepy crawly to me. I don't enjoy it.
Well, but Grandpa Seth, though, and his random rules, of interaction, and
Sure,
you know,
use the creepy ass character to make your point. That's helpful.
I've
Yes.
got, I've, you've got 10 seconds to stop them from eating. You've got, it's just like I have 2 minutes. I can do this one more time. It's like, why? What are the, anyway? So it just makes me just happy as all hell, and I love it.
Sure. Yeah.
Um,
No, I get it. I get it. I'm
so,
I'm not that's another thing. I feel like one of the major misconceptions about this book is that I'm here to yuck people's yum, and I'm absolutely not. Like I'm
right.
not interested
It
in
yeah,
that.
it doesn't come off that way. Um, and it's about looking back fondly at these misfires, but why they are still valid, correct?
Hmm. Sort of. My interest is in assessing them as bad as opposed to reclaiming them. That's one thing that really distinguishes my project from a lot of bad movie commentary. Is my intention is not to argue to you that Staying Alive is a good movie because I don't think it's a good movie.
Right,
I think that its badness is instructive. And that's true for,
exactly.
I think, most of the movies that I write about, like Plan 9 from Outer Space. A lot of people argue for that as a good movie. And I think we'd have to get into like philosophical Kantian terms of good and bad to actually argue about whether Plan 9 from Outer Space is a good movie. But I don't think it is. I don't think Attack of the 50-Foot Woman is a good movie. But I do think that these movies have tremendous value when we're talking about art and how to make it and how to receive it and how to do good criticism on it.
Right. One of the rules as far as my criticism goes, whenever I'm looking at a film, is don't offer a note if you have no real solution for solving it. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yes.
say you don't like it, but say why you don't like it and say maybe what might have improved it. Don't just
Yeah.
say, yeah, you know, it's
Yeah.
otherwise it's not criticism, it's just bitching. So, you know, uh well, another thing that I thought was fascinating or is a fascinating exercise is to look at bad movies by good directors. That's
Hmm.
also very instructive too. I mean, Spielberg, Coppola, they've all had their share of crummy movies, but it's almost like looking under the hood and kind of going, okay, where? where did they lean too much into this bad decision, and how have they made other decisions in their similar movies, you have similar decisions in their other movies rather. Do you have you ever done that?
No, I'm interested in that, but that is hair splitting of a kind that I'm not really equipped to do in a project like this.
Hmm.
I'm interested in this problem because my favorite kinds of movies to think about are interesting failures. Like the one my go-to is Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, which is a movie that has a bunch of really great elements and it just doesn't hang together.
Hmm.
And why is still sort of a mystery to me. And that's part of why I enjoy watching it because it's like looking at an interesting face instead of a classically beautiful face. Like looking at Grace Kelly, it's obvious she's a beautiful woman, but
Hmm.
looking at Florence Pugh, she's got an interesting face.
Hmm.
And that's a lot more stimulating to me than looking at something that's like uh, a director like David Fincher. He's solid platinum all the way through. You can't find the flaws,
Hmm.
and his movies are still interesting to think and talk about, but not to me nearly as interesting as something like Sky Captain.
Hmm. Right, because there's so much to sink your teeth into and to explore. Personally,
Sure.
I really enjoyed Sky Captain. No, it doesn't hang together, but I found the look of it just absolutely just stunning. You
Oh
know.
yeah, it's a gorgeous movie, but it's also there's so many times where I'm like, no, that's the wrong decision for the plot or for the characterization or for whatever. I'm like, no, 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 you're going the wrong way. Turn around.
How do they know where we're going? Um, so well, I again, it's an absolute pleasure to talk to you, Catherine. I could honestly talk, endlessly about film theory, assessing how to assess film, but it's nice to see that, like you said, you're not yucking anyone's yum. You're validating these films as something to be considered, correct?
Correct.
Excellent, excellent. And when are people going to be able to purchase this book?
The book is going to be out on May 2nd. You can pre order it right now. And I'll tell you that this is not the way that most indie authors feel, but for my book, the best place to get it is Amazon. So, Amazon.com, search my name. If you only search my last name, you'll find some Westerns, but search my first name too, and you'll find this book.
Excellent. And honestly, I look forward to reading it. And let's chat again. Let's chat again after we talk or after I go through it.
I
Sound
would
good?
love that.
Awesome. Everyone, Katharine Coldiron, grab that book on Amazon right now, Junk Film, Why Bad Movies Matter. And Catherine, it was a pleasure.
Same here.